Hello, this is Megavergan, and I am finally back doing reviews again. Here we have the Lord of the Rings trilogy review, and this is not a worst to best review. This is actually just what I thought of the whole series as a whole, the whole trilogy. I mean, not the Hobbit movies, because it's a different series. Though soon to be a trilogy as of late this year. It would be late this year because it's 2014 now. So anyway, just bear with me. I have a little cold, so my voice may sound a little weird. But anyway, here goes. My thoughts and opinions on The Lord of the Rings. So first of all, we got The Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first book and movie. All the books were written by J.R.R. Tolkien, and this movie is based off the first book, and I forget when the first book came out, but I know that this movie came out in 2001, and it's the same thing with the second one. The second movie is The Two Towers, which came out in 2002. And for the movie did anyway. And then the third one is Return of the King, which came out in 2003. So now, time to go back and just do a little start. Sorry about that. Here, let me just start from the beginning. Okay, so basically, here's what happened. The Fellowship of the Ring, basically, to make a long story short, Gandalf basically visits Bilbo Baggins in the Shire, which is where these hobbits live, and that's what Bilbo and Samwise and a lot of the main characters, like not all of them of course, but like a lot of them. The ring holder is Frodo, and he's that guy actually, played by Elijah Wood, and his uncle, Bilbo Baggins, which was actually explained in The Hobbit, has had the ring for a long time. Now, the ring was actually made, crafted by Sauron, who is this, like, big bad guy and stuff. And Sauron was defeated, like, generations ago. However, the ring is still alive within him, so like the ring, like it's an evil ring which lures those who look for the ring to try and bring back Sauron. Sauron, to try and bring back Sauron. And so they have to go and destroy the ring in order to save the world. Otherwise, Sauron would be able to rule the world once he has the ring, once he's reunited with his precious ring. And so anyway, Bilbo is too old, and he had it for too long, so Gandalf figures that Frodo can hold on to it, and they need to make that journey to go to Mount Doom to destroy the ring. And so now, so basically he does that, and Sam, who's Frodo's best friend, is the gardener. He was caught just gardening, and so Gandalf, he's like, well, you heard too much, so you better go with him. So basically, Frodo and his friend Sam go on this journey, and then they're eventually joined by these two guys, kind of like funny guys, Merry and Pippin, who are also hobbits. Gandalf, by the way, I forgot to mention, is that wizard right there. He is a really powerful wizard of good. He starts out being Gandalf the Grey. And so anyway, the four hobbits, Frodo, Sam, Merry, and Pippin, go off, and they finally meet up with Aragorn, who is that guy. And Aragorn is an ally to them. He's a ranger, and he's like wicked good at fighting. And then, to make a long story short, they finally team up with a bunch of other guys, including a human named Boromir, a dwarf named Gimli, and a elf who's really good at a bow named Legolas. And so they basically go and team up and go on their journey. So that's pretty much what this first movie is about. And not to be a spoiler or anything, if you haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies. I would suggest you do, because this is a true spoiler. But anyway, here it goes. Boromir dies. And so, pretty much, that's basically what just happened in the first movie. Their first movie is where you pretty much get to know the characters, and you pretty much get to know their characters, and they first start off. So that's the first part. Then the Two Towers is basically like them continuing on with their journey. Merry and Pippin are actually separated and briefly captured, but then they finally actually escape and then meet up with a bunch of Ents, which are these like tree like humanoids. And so there's this like huge scene with like the Ents talking to Merry and Pippin, while Frodo and Sam continue their journey going off to Mount Doom. All the humans, by the way, are going, and they go to Gondor, I believe, and they meet the king and the king's daughter and nephew, and they're basically trying to get them to help them fight off Sauron. And so it's pretty much like that. And then there's this wicked huge battle at the end of the movie, or somewhat like the end, but it's massive. It's so cool. And when they fight all these orcs, just in case if you don't know what orcs are, just in case you haven't seen any of the movies and decided not to watch them even after I suggested it, orcs are basically these disgusting like humanoids who very nasty. I think the first orc actually used to be an elf, but they're just like mutated. I don't know, that's what I heard. So the Two Towers is pretty much a continuation of this. And anyway, there's a bad guy named Saruman who was corrupted by Sauron. Similar names, but anyway, and Saruman was pretty much the main antagonist for the first two movies, because he actually died in the Two Towers movie, which is seen on the extended edition, but for some reason isn't shown in the theatrical version. So if you only seen the theatrical version, you'd be pretty confused. I know I was. But anyway, after that we got the Return of the King, which is the final Lord of the Rings movie. This is pretty much where all things go into play. Sam and Frodo basically go to Mount Doom, and meanwhile, while all this is happening, I forgot to mention, the last movie, the Ents teamed up with the Hobbits because they realized that the orcs destroyed their forest. So they teamed up with the Hobbits to defeat the orcs. So basically, so here there's another massive battle, and Aragorn actually teams up with these with like an army of ghosts. And I mean, I know there's a whole lot of information I forgot to left out. He also there's also this Cain, and then his son Faramir, who's actually the brother of Boromir, who tries to prove himself to his father, but his father is a real jerk about it and wishes that Faramir died instead of Boromir. And then meanwhile, there's this guy named Gollum, who is actually was once a hobbit, but he's like 500 years old now, and he just, basically completely lost it. The ring corrupted him. And actually, as you would see in The Hobbit, it actually shows how Bilbo found the ring and actually stole it from Gollum. So anyway, actually, Sam and Frodo use Gollum to help them find Mount Doom. And Gollum eventually does, but then eventually he abandons them, and they realize that, Sam realized it from the beginning, didn't trust Gollum, but Frodo is becoming more corrupt by Gollum, and the ring was just wearing him down, basically. So pretty much, so Frodo actually, kind of wards off Sam, just being so corrupt by the ring, but Sam pulls it together and finally, not pulls it together, but Sam, comes back and saves Frodo after, he becomes so weakened. He actually wards a spider off that was about to kill Frodo. It was a giant spider, and he takes Frodo up to Mount Doom. They come across some orcs, but they also go up to Mount Doom, and Aragorn and the rest of the armies like go off and are fighting all these orcs. But then Sauron, the Eye of Sauron, because there's this big eye there, says that like they're dead, and so they realize that like, what we do now. So Aragorn says, "We fight. They killed our friends. We should kill as many orcs as possible." So they do that, and then eventually, meanwhile, Frodo and Sam pretty much go up to Mount Doom, and Frodo's about to drop the ring in, but he becomes possessed by the ring, and he puts it on. And then, out of nowhere, pretty much, Gollum jumps out, and he bites off Frodo's finger, and then he takes the ring, and he actually falls into the volcano. And the ring was in his hand, and so the ring was destroyed. And Sam rescues Frodo, so Mount Doom, like, basically collapses, pretty much, I think. Or at least Sauron is eventually killed. And so the good guys won in the end. But eventually, though, like, it's not a totally happy ending, because I mean, yeah, Sam eventually like gets the girl of his dreams and stuff and returns to a normal life at the Shire, a peaceful life, but Frodo could never go back because it was so traumatizing, and because, like, I assume that the ring corrupted him a lot. So I believe he went off with Bilbo in Bilbo's dying days, I believe, and just joined Gandalf and the Elf King and Queen, and yeah, and pretty much just lived there. Oh, and I also forgot to mention the key part of this. Cool part was when Aragorn married an elf named Arwen, actually played by Liv Tyler, who is Steven Tyler's daughter. And so anyway, Aragorn actually finally becomes king. And yeah, so I mean, there's a lot I didn't mention, but there's also a lot to it as well. This is pretty much a brief summary of Lord of the Rings. What I thought of it, here's for the fun part, knowing my opinion. Lord of the Rings, so good. As for rating, I would rate the whole series a 10 out of 10. Each movie specifically gets a 10 out of 10. Now, it's not a best or worst thing, but if I would have to, but personally, if I would have to say what my favorite movie was, it would probably be the third one, The Return of the King, just because of the huge battle and all these things are coming to the major climax of the story. But they were all done. They were all well made, very beautifully, and yeah, and pretty much that's what I have to say. Feel free to post your opinions about Lord of the Rings trilogy. And well, anyway, I'm Mega Vergan, and thank you for watching.